The next topic in MCQ question series is software testing strategies. So the first question is, software debugging is a set of activities that can be planned in advance and conducted systematically. Is it true or false? Debugging in advance. The answer is false. Software testing is a set of such activities. Okay, so software debugging is not that technique, but actually the software testing is that set of activities that can be planned in advance and conducted systematically, not the debugging. Which of the following is not a software testing generic characteristics? These are four options for you. Please read these options and tell me what would be the correct option. Which of the following is not a software testing generic characteristics? The answer is this one. Different testing techniques are appropriate at different points in time. This is not a software testing generic characteristic. The generic characteristic is testing is conducted by the developer of the software or an independent test group. This is true. You can employ another testing group also. Testing and debugging are different activities, but debugging must be accommodated in any testing strategy, because debugging means testing is done with an intent to find an error, and this error needs to be removed or debugged. ITG stands for ITG. These are four options. Which is the correct answer? ITG is independent test group. These group, independent test group. So the role of independent test group is to remove the inherent problems associated with letting the builder test the thing that has been built. The next question is, by collecting dash during software testing, it is possible to develop meaningful guidelines to halt the testing process. By collecting what? Is it metrics or failure intensity or testing time? The answer is metrics. The answer questions like, when are we done with testing? These are the metrics. So by collecting the metrics during software testing, it is possible to develop meaningful guidelines to halt the testing process. Next is, which of the following issues must be addressed if a successful software testing strategy is to be implemented? Use effective formal technical reviews as a filter prior to testing. Develop a testing plan that emphasizes rapid cycle testing. State testing objectives explicitly. So is this all of the mention? Yes. All of the mentioned options are carried out for this purpose. Next is, test cases should uncover errors like non-existent loop termination, comparison of different data types, incorrect logical operators or precedence. Are these test cases going to cover all these? They are going to cover the non-existence loop termination. Test cases should uncover such as all the explained options and much more. So we'll not go with this. Okay. Let us change the answer now. The answer is D. Test cases should uncover all of this. So now our answer would be non-existent loop termination, comparison of different data types, and incorrect logical operations or precedence, because test cases should be designed to uncover any error which is possible. Next is, which of the following errors should not be tested? Which of the following errors should not be tested when error handling is evaluated? Which of the following errors should not be tested when error handling is evaluated? These are four options for you. Please read them very carefully and answer me. Which of the following errors should not be tested when error handling is evaluated? The answer is error description is unintelligible. Others like error noted down does not correspond to error encountered, error condition causes system intervention prior to error handling, and error description provide enough information to assist in the location of the cause of the error. So these are the following errors. 3. This should not be tested when error handling is should be tested when error handling is evaluated, and this is not to be tested. Actually, this error description does not provide enough information to assist in the location of the cause of the error. This is the reason. What is normally considered as an adjunct to the coding step? What is normally considered as an adjunct to the coding step? These are the options for you. The answer is unit testing. What happens after source level code has been developed? It is reviewed and verified for correspondence to component level design. Unit test case begins, or unit case test design begins. So what normally is considered as an adjunct or corresponding to the coding step is the unit testing actually. Next is, which of the following is not a regression test case? See, regression test is done. Why regression test is done? Once you change something or you fix a bug, then you would like to know that fixing a bug has not created more bugs. This is regression testing. So please read all these four and answer me which of the following is not regression test case. The answer is this one. Low-level components are combined into clusters that perform a specific software subfunction. While these others, regression testing may be conducted manually by re-executing a subset of all test cases or using the automated capture or playback tools. So this is the option. Next is which testing is an integration testing approach that is commonly used when shrink-wrapped software products are being developed. Which testing is an integration testing approach that is commonly used when the shrink-wrapped software products are being developed? These are four options for you. The answer is smoke testing. See, smoke testing is designed as a pacing mechanism for time-critical project, allowing the software team to assess its project on a frequent basis. Right? The way you test hardware, if you switch on the hardware and it is producing smoke, then you are aware that this hardware is not working properly or it has some problem. The same is applied to the software also. So smoke testing is an integration testing approach that is commonly used when shrink-wrapped software products are being developed. Now, in which testing level the focus is on customer usage? In which testing level the focus is on the customer usage? Which one of this is? The answer is both alpha and beta. Alpha testing is done at the developer end, while the beta testing is done at the user end. That is the actual people for whom you have made. This is the beta testing. Next is validation, refers to the set of tasks that ensure that software correctly implements a specific function. Is it true or false? It is false because this is not validation, but it is verification. So verification refers to the set of tasks that ensure that the software correctly implements a specific function. Validation refers to the different set of tasks that ensure that the software has been built is traceable to the customer requirements. So validation means with respect to the requirement specification, while this verification means if a particular function is there, it has been implemented properly. Means 2 into 3, whether it is 6 or not. This is the verification part. But if user has asked you to divide it by 3, then it is not correct in terms of the validation part. Next is debugging techniques and approaches. The first question here is, what is testing process first deal? What testing process first goal? What is the aim of the testing process? Bug prevention, testing, execution, analysis. The first goal is bug prevention. It's always better to prevent a bug rather than putting time in its testing and removal. Software mistakes during coding are known as. Are these errors or any other? The answer is bugs. That is why we debug. So a software bug is an error. Flaw, failure or fault in a computer program or a system that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected result. So all these bugs, that is why we don't call deflowing, defailuring or defaulting. We are calling all these activities, removal of all these problems as debugging. So bug is a software bug is an error. It can be error, it can be flaw, it can be failure, it can be fault, which will produce any unexpected result, and that will produce your software incorrect results. Name an evaluation technique to assess the quality of test cases. Name an evaluation technique to assess the quality. How you are going to compute the quality? These are the four options. The answer is mutation analysis. This mutation analysis is used to design new software tests and evaluate the quality of existing software tests. Tests should be conducted for every possible. Is it case or all of the mentioned? The answer is D. Test cases should be conducted for every data, every case, and every variable. So it increases the scope of code inspection. Which of the following is not a part of bug report? These are four options. Not a part of bug report. LOC is not a part of bug report. It is immaterial during testing. As it is a testing means you are doing it to make it suitable for the user. So test cases, output, software version, all are the part of bug report. Which of the following is not a part of execution flow during debugging? Execution flow. Step over, step into, step up, step out. The answer is step up. Step into executes the code. Step out continues execution until some bound value. Step over is to execute code without stopping. So The answer is the odd one out is C. Next is cyclomatic complexity method comes under which testing method? Cyclomatic complexity. So in cyclomatic complexity, you go inside. You want to create a graph. You want to see the path coverage. You make a control flow graph. For that, you are required to know the internal. So cyclomatic complexity tells us whether the number of independent paths in a program which is covered in white box testing. So answer is B. Which is the black box testing technique appropriate to all levels of testing? These are options for you. Is it equivalence partitioning or any other? The answer is equivalence partitioning. Equivalence partitioning is a black box testing. Basically, black box testing and white box testing, they are test design cases. Test design case strategy. So while doing this test case design, you are there are underlying technologies which you adopt, like equivalence partitioning. First you make an equivalence partitioning, then for that you make the equivalence classes, and then you do boundary value analysis. So equivalence partitioning is a software testing technique that divides the input data of a software unit into partitions of equivalent data from which the test cases may be derived. Which of the following is the way of ensuring that the tests are actually testing code? What of the following is the way of ensuring the tests are actually testing the code? These are 4 options, and I hope you are going to answer correctly. This is code coverage. Code coverage is the way of ensuring that the tests are actually testing code. What happens in code coverage? We would like and we would want that code coverage is to be 100%. So we execute the program, and we try to find out the code coverage. That is this part. See if an else is there. So we run if one time, and the case where else is run one time. So all the codes coverage or all the instructions needs to be covered. Next is effective testing will reduce cost. Reduce. This is a fill in the blanks. Reduce which cost? Effective testing. Of course, you are going to, because this is 60 to 40% cost and time goes here only. So remaining options, they are a part of development process. So maintenance is the answer. Effective testing will reduce the maintenance cost. Next is which of the following is a common pointer problem? Common pointer problem. These are 4 options for you. Which is the answer? The answer is this. All of this. Common pointer problem, data sharing error, accessing data elements of wrong type and attempting to use the memory areas after freeing them. You are freed using, say, delete, or with new you use delete, and you with malloc you use free. So these are the common errors programmers generally make while coding. Now the next topic is our project scheduling and tracking. The first question is, which of the following is the reason the software is delivered late? The various reasons. So these are the options for you, and I hope you are going to answer the correct one. The answer is all of the mentioned, because changing customer requirements that are not reflected, they are not reflected in your schedule changes. Technical difficulties that could not have been foreseen in advance, and human difficulties that could not have been foreseen in advance. So technical difficulties, human difficulties, and changing requirements of customer. These are all the reasons why the software is delivered late. Which of the following is an activity that distribute estimated effort across the planned project duration by allocating the effort to specific software engineering tasks? These are options for you. Can you answer this? Which of the following is an activity that distributes estimated effort? The answer is B. Software project scheduling. Software project scheduling is an activity that distributes estimated effort across the planned project duration by allocating the effort to the specific software engineering task. Next is every task that is scheduled should be assigned to a specific team member, which is termed as, these are the options. Are these responsibilities? Yes, the defined responsibilities. These different responsibilities, they are domain specific. Now the next question is, what is a collection of software engineering work, tasks, milestones, and deliverables that must be accomplished to complete a particular project? What are these? So the answer is task set. This is the collection of software engineering work, tasks, milestones, and deliverables that must be accomplished to complete a particular project. Next is ensuring that no more than the allocated number of people are allocated at any given time is software scheduling, is known as. No more than the allocated number of people are allocated. What are these? This is effort validation. Next, what is user used to determine the recommended degree of rigor with which the software process should be applied on a project? What is used to determine the recommended degree of rigor? These are the four options. Can you find the answer? The answer is B, adaptation criteria. So for different degrees of rigor, there are different degrees of rigor. There are 4 degrees of rigor: casual, structured, strict, and quick reaction. So these are the adaptation criteria. Now the next question is, what evaluates the risk associated with the technology to be implemented as part of project scope? What evaluates the risk associated with the technology to be placed in the project scope? And these are the 4 options for you. Can you answer this? The answer is preliminary concept planning. Preliminary concept planning. This evaluates the risk associated with the technology to be implemented as part of project scope. Next question is, which of the following is not an adaptation criteria for software projects? Which of the following is not an adaptation criteria for software project? We have seen the adaptation criteria, 4 of them. So the answer would be customer complaints, because this vary from client to client, but size of the project, project staff, mission criticality, they are the adaptation criteria for software projects. Which of the following is a project scheduling method that can be applied to software development? Which of the following is a project scheduling method? PERT, CPM, CMM, both PERT and CPM. So, there are various options. I hope you choose the right one. The answer is D, both PERT and CPM. PERT is program evaluation review technique. CPM is critical path method. There are 2 project scheduling methods that can be applied on to software development. Again, this is program evaluation review technique, and this is critical path method. A technique for performing quantitative analysis of progress is known as quantitative analysis of progress. The answer is EVA. This is earned value analysis. Earned value, E-value system. So, earned value system provide a common value scale for every task, regardless of the type of work being performed, and the total hours to do the whole project is estimated, and every task is given an earned value based on its estimated percentage of the total. This is the EVA, is a technique for performing quantitative analysis of progress. Next is, what is the recommended distribution of effort for a project? Can you tell me the answer? The answer is A. This is 40-20-40. See, a recommended distribution of effort across the software is 40% goes to the analysis and design, 20% only goes to the coding, and then 40% to the testing, right? A project usually has a timeline chart which was developed by timeline chart. The answer could be Henry Gantt, sorry. So timeline chart, Gantt chart as we all know it, also called as Gantt chart, was invented by Henry Gantt. He was an industrial engineer way back in 1917. Now the next topic today is size and cost estimation of software. So the first question is, which of the following are parameters involved in computing the total cost of software development project? These are all. So answer would be D, because hardware and software cost, effort cost, travel and training cost. All of these are parameters which are involved in computing the total cost of a software development project. Next is, which of the following cost is not part of the total effort cost? Total effort cost. These are the options for you. The correct answer is C, cost of lunchtime food. This seems to be quite amazing, that lunchtime food, people are being paid for working and they can spend on it. But there are various companies that provide lunchtime food also, and most of them do this. So cost of networking and communication, cost of providing heating and lighting in office, that is the environmental conditions, and the cost of support staff, these all are considered to be part of total effort cost. The lunchtime food, of course, will be incurred by the employees. What is related to the overall functionality of the delivered software? What is related to the overall functionality of the delivered software? Can you answer this? Overall functionality, the answer is function-related metrics. Productivity is expressed in terms of amount of useful functionality produced in some given time. So function points and object points are the best known metrics of this type. So overall functionality, function-related metrics. Next question is, A dash is developed using historical cost information that relates some software metric to the project cost. These are the options for you. The answer is algorithmic cost modeling. So algorithmic cost modeling, this is the model. This model uses a basic regression formula with parameters that are derived from historical project data and current as well as the future project characteristics. Next is it often difficult to estimate the size at an early stage in a project when only a specification is available? Is it true or false? The answer is true, because you have function point and object point estimates. They are easier to produce than estimates of code size, but are often still inaccurate. For code size means the other is you're using this KLOC COCOMO model. So it uses the number of lines. So number of lines will not be ready. They will be only ready after your coding has been done. For that you have function point and object point estimate. This will give you a rough estimate. Which technique is applicable when other projects in the same analogy application domain have been completed? Which technique is applicable? These are the options, same as the fourth one. The answer is C, estimation by analogy. The cost of new project is estimated by the analogy with other completed projects. Next is which model assumes that systems are created from reusable components, scripting and database programming? Which model assumes this? The answer is an application composition model. So it is designed to make estimates of prototype development. The following states that work expands to fill the time available. Work expands to fill the time available. The answer is C, Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available. So the cost is determined by available resources rather than objective assessment. If the software has to be delivered in 12 months and 5 people are available, the effort required is estimated to be 60 per month. Just multiply this. Which model is used during early stages of the system design after the requirements have been established? You have to tell the model which is applied during early stages of the system design once the requirements have been established. Can you answer this? The answer is an early design model. So estimates are based on function points, which are then converted to number of lines of source code, and this formula follows the standard form which I discussed above with the there are various 7 multipliers. So these are various multipliers. You have to go in detail to this function point estimation. Now next is which model is used to compute the effort required to integrate reusable components of program code that is automatically generated by design or program translation tools? The answer is C, a reuse model. So a reuse model is used to compute the effort required to integrate reusable components of program code that is automatically generated by the design or program translation tools. Next is the COCOMO model takes into account different approaches to software development, reuse, etc. Different approaches. The answer is false. It is COCOMO 2 model, not COCOMO. COCOMO 2 incorporates range of submodels that produce increasingly detailed software estimate, not just the line of code or kilo line of code. So this was again some MCQ questions we have taken, and we'll be taking more of these. Thank you so much.